Hi, my name is Austin O'Leary,
My name is Abe Patton.
and this is our PowerPoint on Anne of the Thousand Days versus the other Boiling Girl. First off, we have our truth claims that the movie makes throughout the film. Some of these truth claims include, in both films, they show Henry VIII kind of gaining power hungry over the time of the movie, which happened in real life. He became more power hungry the further down the line he went in his age. It started off by not only overthrowing the cardinal in England, but also cutting away from Rome. And they actually excommunicated him because of this, because he got so power hungry and he wanted all of England and not to report to Rome. And that was shown very well throughout the movie. Another thing that King Henry was obsessed with was having a son. And it showed throughout both movies. He had multiple mistresses, multiple wives, trying to have a boy to become the heir of the throne. And he became obsessed with this matter. In Old England, if you did not have a son, things usually did not get passed down to the girls of the family. So it was justified why he wanted a son, but it drove him a little crazy in his older age, and we have a clip to show you.
Now you will give yourself to me.
I thought I'd made myself clear. Until we're married, there's no...
Damn you! I have torn this country apart for you!
For which you should thank me, not be angry.
Broken with Rome.
Freed yourself, Mormac, from the decadence of a corrupt church.
I've got rid of a good woman in the Queen.
A dried-out husk who failed you, and whose Spanish blood shackles you to
For
Rome.
which I will be excommunicated.
And instead, become head of a new church. The Church of England. Closer to God.
Silence! Damn
You're me. You're hurting me.
This clip really showed how well that Henry VIII was driving to be power hungry because of things Anne had pointed out to him that the church had more power. Regarding that, he wanted all the power and also wanted a son. Another thing that was very well pointed out throughout the movie was in Anne of the Thousand Days, her and King Henry actually fell in love throughout that whole movie. It started in the beginning, and they didn't get married until halfway through that movie. As to the other Boiling Girl, it did not show the romance actually building as it did in history claims. The other thing that the truth claims claimed was the church having power. In Anne of the Thousand Days, the church had multiple divisions, and they all had a lot of power. Obviously, the king could overpower them all, but at the time, the church was running most of England through Rome, through the Pope, and everyone would follow the Pope, and the king would follow the Pope. And that was shown very well in Anne of the Thousand Days, and not as well in the other Boiling Girl.
Okay, next what we're going to be talking about is the chronological accuracy, to which it shows in movies that there are some flaws in it. For one, that the child known as that was birthed and named Elizabeth after Henry's mother. She was shown to be still an infant in the other Boiling Girl, while in the Anne of a Thousand Days she was shown to be the correct age, or at least walking and everything as what she should have been. And the other Boiling did not have her as that. It still had her like an infant kind of looking age, and then all of a sudden in the next scene she was the right age, which was completely off and completely chronologically wrong. Another thing was with Queen Catherine, Henry VIII's first wife. Um, she did not die before the marriage. She died before, maybe not even like a few months before Anne got beheaded and sentenced to death. And it showed Catherine and the other Boleyn girl dying at the correct time, but in the end of 1,000 days, it did not. She did not die at the right time.
Next, we're going to talk about the Ariel of the movie. There was very many different sounds throughout the movie that actually made it feel authentic, from when the king would walk into a room and all the murmurs of the people talking about the king, to when he talked, they would all become silent. Very good sound effects would include during the weddings and all the events. The music that was being played was authentic to those time era standards. And another thing that stood out was during the wedding, when they walked down the streets, you could hear the birds, because they got married in May, so you could hear the birds chirping along. Even as the crowd was yelling, you would hear the birds chirping in the background. And we have some music to show you from the movie. This was a very good point, because the music was upbeat and it was to the scene that was being performed. It was during a party, it was dancing music, it was very accurate. And throughout the whole movie, we feel that they did very well in showing good aerial sounds to make you feel like you were there. The commoners murmuring, the music being played was very well done.
Okay, what we have next is the thematic accuracy, to which it was shown that Anne in the end of showing that Anne in 1,000 days, she had continuously was talking back to King Henry, and he I think he only hit her only once, but throughout the rest of the movie, she was talking back repeatedly, and that would never have been allowed in that century, because they would be repeatedly punished for talking back every single time. But however, in the other Boleyn girl, when she talked back to people, she was punished, and it was shown that they were. Another thing, it would be that the king had gone very mad, as we have said previously, because kings had tended to need heirs, and they needed male heirs, and he had gone mad due to that, as I said previously. This was accurate thematically, because of how thematically angry he was being in both films, escalating every single time for the longer he was waiting to receive a son.
Also, going off that, as Dave said, in the other Boleyn girl, when she got punished, I would say she did not do that act again of talking back to him until the trial, wouldn't you?
Yes.
So that was actually very good theatrical acting throughout the movie. She would not talk back. She learned her lesson after that time. Going on to our last slide is the visuals. We noticed that the clothing was very accurate throughout the whole movie. There were some missed visuals every now and then, but we'll get to that in a second. First, we'll talk about the clothing. The royals were kept very nice, very perfectly sought by everyone else. When they walked the streets, all the peasants wore down in ragged clothes, which was accurate. And it was very accurate for the time era, being dressed up nice as royals, because they cared about what was thought of their families. Something that was not too accurate, as Dave will hit on, is the armor.
The armor, as I don't know how that was noticed by me, was that in the End of 1,000 Days, the armor worn by the guards was not really armor; it was more cloth. That's more of what they worn, and would probably didn't look like it was very accurate to me, because in the other Bowling Girl, they did have a few pieces. They had a few pieces of armor on to protect them, like if they would get attacked, which would have helped them and was looked more accurate than what the End of 1,000 Days, because again they were wearing cloth and not armor, to where one provided no protection and the other did.
And just to point out one more thing and how accurate the visuals were, Anne got married in May, which was end of spring, and the flowers were blooming at the time of her marriage, which was very good attention to detail by the directors. And during the time of her death in May, the flowers were also blooming again. So it showed that attention to detail that they paid, and it made the movies overall very good, very accurate at times, and was a good watch. Comparing them, they have a lot of similarities and also some differences throughout. And that is our presentation about Anne of 1,000 Days versus the other Boiling Girl. Thank you.